Glory to God in the highest, peace on earth and goodwill towards all y'all, man. What's happening? Happy Thursday, and welcome in to another edition of the Breaking Bread Radio program right here on Talk 99.5 worldwide at breakingbreadradio.com, on the streams, the YouTube channel, Breaking Bread Radio AL, on X, at Broken Bread BHAM, and on Facebook at Breaking Bread Radio, coming to you as always from the Redland Rifle Studios, Highway 280. If you're looking for a piece, for some peace of mind, a little protection, maybe you need some ear protection.
Huh?
Maybe you need some bullets. Maybe you need a holster for your gun. Redland Rifle, it's got your six covered, and you can believe that. We are joined today by Tony and Amy from Vaper Forge.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
About a strong 7-iron just down the road next to Bailey Brothers Music. Great selection, great prices, great service. If you smoke cigarettes for way too long like I did and you tried everything else to quit, go get you one of them smooth southern tobacco flavored vapes. Now, you got to be ready, because if you're not ready, it won't work. But if you're ready, it'll work. Because listen, I'll be honest with you, you stink. You smell like a stale cigarette. Your breath's not much better. Food is too expensive for it not to taste as good as it should. All of these, in addition to you being able to breathe better and be a little bit healthier and be around your family for a longer time, all great reasons to go visit Vaper Forge, Highway 280, vaporforge.com for more information. I'm done, but we got to keep things moving with Crocker Movement Services and my brother AJ. What's up, man?
What is going on? It's good to see everybody's lovely face this evening. Tony, Amy, thank y'all for being here on Breaking Bread. So just want to say that real quick. As we keep things moving, CrockerMovingServices.com, CrockerMovingServices.com, great moving company. Veteran and locally owned. These guys can move you no matter how big or how small the move is. You want a moving professional that can get the job done and treat your stuff like it was their very own. Even like just hiring the people that they hire, they do a full background check. Maybe JD needs to kind of talk to Eric Crocker about hiring some folks, because I know he's been having some issues with people having shirts inside out, wearing shorts, no resume.
Sounds like my standards is higher than his.
No. Eric Crocker's standards are like,
yeah, they are
top of the echelon.
They are.
I mean, just you know, he ain't just hiring just anybody off the street. He's gonna make sure they're gonna do the job and do the job right. So if you need a good moving company, reach out to the moving professionals. CrockerMovingServices.com, CrockerMovingServices.com. Now, Pop-Tarts, right? We like the Pop-Tarts.
Right? We like the Pop-Tarts.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yes.
Up? Oh no. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Well, and I mentioned this before. They're coming out with some ice cream, but they're also coming out with something I thought surprised. They haven't done this in a long time. If you're fat, or
check,
well rounded,
check.
You're definitely gonna like this one. I think. Now,
what about husky people?
I do like me a good ice cream sandwich. I the Neapolitan, the regular, vanilla ice cream between the little cookie, top notch. Can't help. But Pop-Tart is now coming with their own version of ice cream sandwich. So it's basically Pop-Tart in between. Well, a Pop-Tart, then it's going to be ice cream in between. So they're going to come out with a chocolate fudge, strawberry, and brown sugar cinnamon. Ice cream sandwich.
Look, as we've discussed, I'm good with all this. I will try one if somebody buys it for me. I'm sure it tastes good, but I personally am paying no more of my hard-earned money to the Pop-Tart Corporation until they give the people what they want. And what the people want is a double stuff Pop-Tart.
Absolutely.
Less crust, more icing, and double the filling. And it's simple. Instead of giving us 8 in a pack, you just give us 2 2-packs, double stuffed, double stacked. I know you have the power. I know you're listening. So buttholes make it happen.
So you talking about like how the oatmeal cream pies? They had like the double stuff.
Yes.
Oatmeal cream pies.
Yeah, like a double stuffed Oreo. I'm talking about double or triple the filling.
Yeah.
And more icing. And you can give us less Pop-Tarts in the box. That's fine. But yes, I need a double stuffed Pop-Tart.
Yeah, that does sound pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I think you just like double stuffed.
I do. I need somebody to appease this husky fella.
Double stuff's always good because if they're going to double stuff anything, usually it's good in a single form in the first place.
Right.
Right.
So how could you lose?
Exactly.
But I don't know if I'm good with 2 2-packs. I think you should have at least 3 2-packs instead of 4.
Hey, look, this is like Burger King. You have it your way.
I want it my way.
Hey, Tony, give it to her way.
Tony?
So Pop-Tarts are pretty good,
Have you ever put one
with the
on
sprinkles on them and stuff,
Have you ever toasted one on the Foreman grill?
No, I have not, no.
Look, that's the only thing he hadn't put on the Foreman, okay?
I believe it.
Well, it's so quick and efficient.
He
Until
loves his
tomorrow.
Foreman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll put one on there tomorrow, I bet.
I mean, if somebody paid me enough money, I might.
We have
Throw a
Pop-Tarts
Pop-Tart.
at the house.
Yeah, but that's for the grandkids and stuff.
Were your plethora of Foreman grills sad a few weeks ago when he passed? Did they ask for the day off in remembrance?
I didn't even think of that until just now. Yeah, R.I.P. George Foreman.
You pour a little
Should've-
grease out for Foreman.
We should have grilled in his honor.
I mean, I got backup on backup. What's that, AJ?
Like I was gonna say, you were singing that song. This grill is dedicated to that boxer.
Drives the
Y'all
wife
remember that
nuts
song?
with the George Foreman because I don't like to clean them between usage. I like to keep the.
You like
You know,
it
the
to be seasoned.
Oh yeah, it's the best.
Okay,
So you got to do it after
look.
so many times.
Okay, so when do you clean it? How many seasonings does it need?
As many
many
as
as
it
it
can
takes.
handle. And
Yeah.
if you ruin it, you just get a different one, use different plates, and try it again and learn from your mistakes.
Okay, there's a difference between seasoned and clotted.
Do you use the George Foreman?
I do not.
Then don't worry about it.
We have a beautiful large grill outside,
Wait a minute,
and
hold
it's
on,
still
hold on,
virginal.
hold on. Will, you caused this right here. You caused
I
this
did.
real
Yeah.
between the
I did.
right now.
20 minutes to Wapner. The second half of the show might be divorce court.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Yeah.
Nah, after all these years, he's
Don't get
stuck.
get between a man and his George Foreman grill. All right, real quick. Also, Hershey is seeking some tariffs exemption for cocoa amid rising cost. So your Hershey Kisses and Hershey bars and all that stuff could be going up in prices because of the tariffs. So if you like the chocolate,
Everything's going up.
Okay, here's the beauty for us. My son-in-law's father works for Mars, so we get all the free M&Ms we can possibly stand. Every flavor. So,
So they're still gonna be free?
Chocolate.
they'll
Okay.
always be free. The difference is we get them, he brings us bags that are they have to cure for 6 months for all that coating and everything to be hard and not be
Right.
icky. That's why they melt in your mouth
What?
and not in your hand. Yes.
I want more M&Ms now. So if you got an extra, barrel or bucket, let me know.
We got it. Wait a minute,
Yeah.
hold on. We got an M&M plug over here. We didn't.
Yeah.
I am
We got
your
a Foreman
M&M
grill
plug.
and then we got an M&M plug. Like what's going on? Like,
We're
how
all
we didn't know
we're
this?
all good for something.
Like that. All right, Anthony Anderson and Cedric the Entertainer open up a barbecue joint, and so there you go. And
I
thought
bet
this
you it's
was
not
actually
good.
pretty- these whole celebrity-owned restaurants, they never really last.
Well-
I've never seen one that really lasts for a very long time.
Well, and
unless it's
he's got the diabetes and whatnot, and he's always plugging the healthy and low cal eating. Look, if you're gonna sell me sub-calorie, better for me barbecue, I'm probably not gonna buy it.
yeah.
So,
I think a lot of the famous people that do their restaurant bit, they don't really think it through with their management. The times that I've gone back and saw people go, their business goes bankrupt and they're famous or whatever. They just trust someone to kind of run it. They just fund it.
Right.
And a lot of the times it's just poor management. And when it's not your money, you don't really care as much. So at least that's what I've seen. They have tons of money and they just tank it because of poor management.
That's our problem here at the store. Poor management. Man,
Aren't you the man?
I didn't realize that was.
That's
I
a
just learned
thing,
something.
JD.
Man,
And,
all this
right,
time.
I thought this was pretty funny. And for some reason I thought of Will about this story right here.
It's got to either be weed or rap music.
No.
That may lead us into our next segment.
Right. No,
Yeah.
this is actually there's a pill that's designated to make your farts smell like chocolate.
Y'all's farts don't already smell like chocolate? You got to take a pill for that?
Mine are roses.
JD does, in fact, is roses. Like,
Yeah.
if I walk into the room right after he's pooted, like, I think I'm touring the White House Rose Garden.
Mm-hmm.
Amy let one rip one night, and I could have sworn I got a hint of cinnamon. I don't know what was up with that.
God bless you, honey.
Is that what happened to the other chef from the other two chefs? They've been hanging out at the house with Amy?
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
We talked about the
maybe.
missing Cinnamon Toast Crunch mascots yesterday.
Oh, we did, didn't we?
Yes.
Huh.
Keep quiet, Will.
Sorry, my bad.
You're gonna get me in trouble.
My bad. Mini chef smuggling. I'm surprised you ain't been busted with that corridor. They love to sit at that corridor right there by the house.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, not the little chefs, the cops.
Oh, okay. Thought you meant the chefs.
Yeah.
Because
No, she
you're
got
smoggling chefs?
I'll never tell.
Is that a
That-
tiny
that's-
chef in your pocket, or are you just
that's
happy to see us?
I'll never tell. That's actually an Oompa Loompa.
Oh,
That's the Keebler. That's what he calls it.
I don't think
I
it
think
is.
that would be Little Chub. Is that what?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
That's,
Too soon?
that's funny. That's great.
All right.
That's
I think I've been hanging out with McLean and stuff too much.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
love it.
You know what? So should we see if, I forgot his name, but he's got the blue chews. Should we get the pills for the chocolate,
Yeah.
the chocolate toots?
Yeah.
Okay.
Steve West, just chew it and do it.
Between Blue Chew and
And this one- this
Alabama
one
Men's
called
Clinic,
Chew.
you're pretty firm.
Yeah.
But those pills be chew it
Pudding.
and poot it.
Chew it and poot it.
Chewed it,
Chew it and
chewed it,
poot
and
it.
poot it.
Chew
I
it
thought
and
it was
poot
chew it and do it.
Ours would be
No,
chew it
no,
and poot it.
no, I'm talking about the chew it and poot is the ones that,
That makes your farts
would
smell
do.
pretty.
Oh.
Yes.
The goal is to get every single commercial, every ad, some type of pill, because that seems like that's the way, the future right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Simple and effective. Just have one.
Gambling
Maybe that's how
addiction?
we save our industry.
Call a hooker and just chew it and do it.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, that's fine. All right. If you don't know, now you know.
Nailed it.
That basically. Craig and Keith and the team at Birmingham Broker want you to know if you're looking to get out of your current vehicle, don't go to the car dealership and get offered far less than your vehicle's worth, because then you can't really hate on the car dealership because they got to sell. They got to buy it wholesale so they can turn around and sell it retail, and you don't have time to clean up after your messy kids and your minivan, and you don't want to meet somebody you don't know in a dark alley because you might not make it back home to your family. Just go to bhambroker.com, fill out some information, have a consultation, come to an agreement, hand them the keys, and they're going to sell your car and sell your car fast so that you don't have to. bhambroker.com for more information. bhambroker.com. How about that?
It's very nice.
Thank you very much.
And Craig's a real nice guy, by the way.
He is.
Yep.
Keith, too.
Yep.
Shout outs and prayers to recoveries and speedy backs to works and whatnot for the things that are going on around them parts. So that's what I got to say
Yeah.
about
Amen.
that.
I wasn't sure if everybody knew.
I
I figured we all do. But
yeah.
I probably don't know the whole story, but I've heard
I was trying to be unspecific.
Yeah. No, you did a very good job,
Thank
if I might say so myself.
I don't. If I try not to spill the beans with things that I know.
I know. Like, steel trap.
Yeah.
You can trust that guy with anything.
I'm basically Jesus' confidant.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
tells me all the secrets.
Probably.
As long as it's not like the Seinfeld vault, the one that gets open every now and then.
Yeah, it doesn't close.
Yeah, it's the vault. Well, we'll open it in a second.
Oh, so you guys are slurping down these big old Sonic milkshakes. I bet you they're tasty.
Yeah, I got a chocolate. She got a strawberry, right?
I'm not slurping.
I like
Um,
milkshakes.
Mine's a little too thick, so I'm having to.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
I like them thick.
I do too. Yeah, mine's not exactly going through the straw.
That's what she said.
Oh man,
That's what she said.
That's my
Literally, she
CTV right
said
Oh.
that.
she said it.
The Twitter feed count just blew up.
Did.
Yeah. Well, I think we just got placed into a different category.
We're gonna switch over to OnlyFans here.
Oh God, yeah, me and
Well,
JB.
I mean, Tony, you want to show us how you take on the milkshake? Because it doesn't seem like you have too much problem with the size
mean,
of that, the
it's
girth
a-
of that straw,
it's a-
or the.
Very girthy straw, Tony.
It is.
I have no problem with the thick straw.
Yeah.
I can't
That's
wait
how
to
you
get
get
home
some-
and my girls are gonna be like, "What does girth mean?"
Tell them to ask their mama.
Is there a cherry in there? I just want to know. Did they
Still
put a
wouldn't
cherry in there? In
Nah.
the milkshakes?
I didn't get a cherry in mine. No.
Mine is strawberry, but they are
There's whole strawberries in there.
there are no whole strawberries. No, they're pretty ground up and
No.
See,
Ours,
What is
ours
it?
must be left
Because there was like
in
a
the car.
cherry being sucked
They're
through
still
a
in the
straw
car.
in
Yeah,
there
all right.
somewhere, so I was just,
Well, she was having a hard time getting the milkshake through the straw, and I thought it was part of the strawberries that got clogged in there,
But
but
it's
apparently it
not.
wasn't.
no, it's
So-
just a very thick shake.
Did you guys also get food from Sonic, or did you just get
Just a
milkshake?
milkshake. Yeah, we had some Mexican right down the street at the 5% tax area, and
What,
then
what was his name?
Yeah.
you
uh,
had some
Miguel.
Mexicans.
El Patron, isn't that what it's called?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Every
all
good
right.
story starts with tequila.
Mm-hmm.
That's the. I mean, or is it Cas? What's the name? The Mexican place right by our vape shop. How the heck do I not know the name of the place?
You're such a
Because
good
it's
neighbor.
changed
It
4
used-
times.
It used to be Extapa, and then it was Five Amigos, and
I
it,
thought you were gonna say Home Depot, so I'm already lost here.
no, it's
I think it's El Patron, but
the same Mexican place in our
Yeah.
complex.
I think it's El Patron.
Did they change it from 5 Amigos to 3 Amigos after the border got closed?
Well,
All right, look, we got to take a break, y'all.
take a break. Take a break.
we got to take a break.
Oh, wah wah wah.
Breaking Bread Radio.
AJ's pulling this thing over.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm about
Daddy.
to take y'all back to the border.
Dang
man.
it.
Going double stuff.
It's Breaking Bread. Back after this.
You're listening to Breaking Bread on Talk 9.
you haven't, then I think you
Should.
I was sitting in the kitchen one day and I was itching to fill up my belly with the piping hot jelly of the best damn treat in the world. He's talking Pop-Tarts. And I saw
What
a
is
stick of butter
this?
and it almost made me
It's the
start
butter on the
screaming
Pop-Tarts,
like
huh?
a baby girl.
Oh, I need some
You watch
culture.
Family Guy? You ever
Was this
watch
from Family Guy?
Yeah, this Family Guy.
Look.
When Peter and Quagmire wanted to, they became a band. That's
Oh.
one of the hit songs.
Man,
I
to be
hadn't-
honest, I don't watch a lot.
I didn't
don't
see
watch
that
a lot
one.
of TV.
I know all the South Parks, but I don't know all the Family Guy.
Speaking of bills and bands,
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
we're gonna get into a little bit of ass backwards Alabama politics.
Yeah, let's talk about the Alabama legislature.
It's so backwards it seems forwards to us anymore.
Yes, we're gonna have to do it when we get back though, because the first section was longer than that straw you're trying to pull that milkshake out of.
Too much double stuff talk there.
Yeah. A little bit.
You are listening to the Breaking Bread radio program, and we will be back. Join us, won't you? Welcome back into the Breaking Bread radio program. The folks at Helena Hollow want you to bring your mama to the second annual Helena Hollow Mother's Day Rodeo tomorrow, Friday, May 9th, and Saturday, May the 10th. Gates are at 5:30. Rodeo starts at 7:30. Tickets are available at helenahollow.com. They're a little less expensive there. There will be some tickets available at the door, so you can come check that out. 8 great events. Mutton bussing for the kids. The Breaking Bread crew will be on hand doing the Breaking Bread radio show live from there. And then we will switch over and broadcast the rodeo over our live stream and commentate on it, which is, I've been preparing all of my bareback jokes and all that. It's gonna be great. There's another question.
I'm gonna see if
for
I'm
when
gonna
you
go
get
to
home.
Wally World and give me some overalls. I've been trying to get some overalls for the longest and haven't done it yet. And I think tomorrow will be a good day to rock it.
It would be.
Overalls.
And if they don't
Yeah,
have
some
them there,
Crocs.
you can get them for sure. You can get them at the dang old Tractor Supply over there by us in Pelham. They have a great selection.
That's true.
Yeah,
Of
I gotta figure
overalls.
out the time they open because I gotta be here early in the morning. So hopefully that meeting doesn't go too long, and then I have enough time to go ahead and do it. So
Just chew it.
Y'all have no idea how sad Catherine was that she's not gonna be able to do mutton busting.
Oh man.
She was
I'm
going to
mad,
be our
too.
official
I
intro.
want to know. I wanted to mutt some bust, though. You know what I'm saying? I really want to do that.
AJ really had his heart set on riding a sheep.
On squashing a sheep.
Yeah.
You said
Make sure we
cheek
all
or
have-
cheeks.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes. That's true. HelenaHollow.com for tickets. So Tony and Amy didn't just come to sit in today to be part of this nonsense. They are welcome
We didn't?
to do so at any time that they'd like. But we wanted to talk a little bit about this crappy bill that was passed yesterday. What is it? HB?
HB 445 was the hemp one, and then there's also HB 8, which is like on the vape side of things. But everybody's focused on 445 with the hemp.
So
Lots of rallies around town going on, and there's a rally happening this Saturday in Montgomery. So yeah, there's a lot of buzz around this particular bill. Yeah.
So for those who may not know what the bill is about, just can you break it down? Like, what is this bill trying to prevent from happening?
I will absolutely break that down. HB 445 basically makes all smokable hemp illegal as of July the 1st.
which is federally legal
Federally legal.
under the Farm Bill.
However, the states do have the power
Absolutely.
to do their own thing, but it makes all hemp and hemp derived all hemp as far as smokable goes illegal. It also reduced the milligram on what they did leave us. They left us drinks and gummies, and there is a 10 milligram cap on those. As far as the gummies go, it cannot be more than 10 milligrams per gummy. If it is a package of gummies, the entire package cannot exceed 40 milligrams. So that would be, 4 10s or 8 5s, or however you want to break that down. But
And they have to be individually wrapped. Did I hear
and
that?
they must be individually wrapped. And I'm here to tell you that no manufacturer does that without some sort of, special deal. But they are having to start doing that in Georgia, I think. So there may be others that start, but
Are they worried that like maybe some of the milligrams of THC will like get into another gummy and make it more than 10 milligrams? Like
Oh my God,
why can't they touch?
I have this feeling they're just worried about some little kid going into a jar of gummies, and the fact that if they individually wrap them, it'll be harder for them to,
Right.
for them to get each one
Like a
down.
Hershey Kiss.
That's
Right.
the only thing I can figure as well. Now the whole claim was to protect the children, and we told them, look, all of our shops in the state are willing to work with you. And let me go ahead and plug this. I'm also the vice president of the Alabama Hemp and Vape Association. We are the only organization in the state of Alabama that is not only registered, but we had lobbyists on the ground. We had our group was there at the state house throughout the entire legislative session, from February all the way through now. So we've always had somebody there lobbying on our behalf, and they worked very, very hard. And we're told on some things, like the flour, they were like, forget it. We're not going to work with you guys on flour. Flour's not going to pass. But we still pushed, and we still tried to work with them on the other components of the bill. And truly, the one thing that would solve all the problems, and this goes for vape and hemp, if they would put these products in 21 and up stores only, businesses like ours at Vaper Forge, where we ID everyone that comes in the door, and we also have an ID verification system, that problem would be solved. Because during session, one of the senators got with the police department and sent his 16-year-old into a convenience store where they sold his 16-year-old a hemp vape.
Right.
So you can't blame them for being pissed, but at the same can I say that word?
Absolutely.
You just
Okay.
did.
Yeah,
Pissed.
you just did.
Okay, cool. Can't blame them for being upset about that, but you also have to understand that convenience stores, gas stations, etc., do not have the trained personnel that a vape or hemp or a hybrid shop like ours, the personnel that we have. Not only do we know what we're selling, we know everything about it. We can ask the right questions to get you the right product and make sure that you're not leaving there with something you can't handle. Convenience stores are all about the sale. And
I mean, can they
most
can
of
they
them,
set this up like how they do like the adult stores where it's like you got to sign this waiver for medical purposes?
certainly.
That's how they kind of get around that. Can they just do it?
Certainly.
The real question is this convenience store still open?
That's a good question.
Right?
I was not made privy to what convenience store it was, so I don't know.
And did they try and buy alcohol and cigarettes too while they were there?
Ooh, there's a hot subject.
I mean, for crying out loud.
I know.
Can I also add some? What happened to parenting?
Thank
Right.
you so much.
We've been
Um,
saying that
where's the
forever.
there
Where's
were
the parents' responsibility in all of this? I remember
Yeah.
like those ads back in the day. Like the more you know, or like the kid, the dad finds the kid stashed under the bed, and then he was like, "Dad, I learned from watching you." Like that was so impactful. Or like,
Right.
this is your brain on drugs. What happened to that? And parents' responsibilities and say, you know what the heck your kids are doing. Like,
Right.
what happened to that?
That's a good question too. I know another thing that was brought up during session when the bill sponsor was speaking, and I'm talking about Senator Andy Witt, sponsored Bill 445. Meltson had a bill; it was 132, but it kind of got squashed, and he teamed up with Witt for 445. But they were trying to say that kids are getting in parents' gummies and this, that, and the other. So again, parental responsibility needs to be checked somewhere. They were also saying that gummies were being used in the sex trafficking industry to keep the women they were trafficking under control.
Yeah, these people have never eaten a gummy.
They've never eaten a
I was just
gummy.
thinking that, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
I know. I mean,
I mean, these are the same people that said
my jaw
that
hit the
it should be
floor.
a depository. You know what I'm saying? It should go the other way. instead of,
Exactly.
going to-
That's true.
Yeah, so
But yeah, Witt said they were used in sex trafficking. He also said that I believe he compared a 10 milligram gummy or a 5 milligram gummy to an entire bottle, and he didn't specify bottle size, but an entire bottle of vodka.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know what vodka you're drinking and what gummy
real.
you're taking, but if I drank a bottle of vodka, I'd be in the floor for a few days.
This
but
stuff should be kind of like if you're going to use a taser, you got to get tased before you can use it. These people are talking about literally something they know nothing about, have
that's
never
the
done.
problem.
iPhones are also used in trafficking.
Yes, they are.
The internet is also used in human trafficking. I mean, come on.
I'd like to know how many of the people who voted for this bill have any type of investment in the Alabama for-profit prison system.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
for
now you're
saying
getting
that.
deeper, yeah.
You're getting into the deep
I would
stuff.
also. So for me,
Uh-huh.
aside from the control aspect, this is really about two things. This is really about pharmaceuticals, keeping people controlled through addiction.
Mhm.
Number one, and number two, this is, if it's illegal, if they don't have butts in their seats, they're no different than a restaurant.
Well, they've got a brand new, beautiful prison they
Absolutely.
need to fill.
Well, and
And so they were actually, we had some intel that they were very much a part of who was behind this bill. It's funny to me because Melson, actually, had or has, that's unclear at this point, but had and ran a pain clinic because he's a doctor. And I actually have a copy of I don't know if it's Facebook or X post back from 2019 or 2020, when Meltson stated how beneficial THC was for treating pain and said that he supported it.
I also find it very comical that the Democrats that voted yes for this bill. So just for keeping score,
I think I'm sitting here thinking the exact same thing.
okay to kill a baby, okay to turn your son into your daughter, but God forbid if you're an adult and you want to toke a little something, well, that's just too far.
That
Or
yeah,
eat a little
but
gummy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
well, let me
that's
tell you
that's just
something.
too far.
This was the most bipartisan vote I've ever seen. It definitely didn't, fall on the R's or the D's. This was split down the middle.
Well, isn't it also
both
convenient
parties.
that the tax revenue that's going to be generated is just going to the general fund?
Yeah.
The general
Yeah,
fund.
yeah.
90% of the revenue goes to the general fund,
Well, so
which basically means this is how we all split it up and take our cut.
You said it. I didn't say it.
I said it. I don't
I'm
care.
you
just
should
saying
say
it.
it.
I
You
don't
should say
care.
it for sure. So y'all are generally pretty conservative folks, right?
Yep.
So how weird is it? How weird does it feel to be pretty conservative, vote that way most likely, and these are the clowns that are destroying your business and taking like the freedoms that they claim that they care about, right? Personal freedom, all this, because they'll get up there and talk about parenting. Oh, just go, you need to be better parents and all this sort of stuff. But then they're sitting here and doing this right here.
I got to say, when I moved here, I thought we had a good chance of the state protecting us in something like this, and it's totally switched around the opposite. When I first moved here, people were telling me, oh, we'll have a lottery soon. They're just trying to figure out where the money's going to go to, and that was 17 years ago, and we still
Right.
don't have one. But I never in my wildest dreams thought they would take our freedoms away in Alabama with this. We know what we sell. We know what we put out. We know what's going on, and they didn't want to work with shop owners to fix the problem. They had other agendas in play, and this whole prison thing kind of is sketchy. They just seem to somehow know the timing on all this going on. So I think all this was thought through before they,
We're absolutely convinced that it would not matter how many lobbying teams we had up there. This bill was going to pass one way or the other, and it was all done under the guise of let's protect the children.
You should stop listening as soon as they say that
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Well,
but
on anything.
The bad thing is what you're doing now is you are putting basically turning people out to the black market, putting them back on the street, having them have to find a dealer, and it is with a dealer that you're going to not know what's in your product. Also, they talk about how marijuana leads to, trying other drugs. Well, that's probably so because your dealer has your marijuana and he's also got, I've got some pills here, I've got some meth, I've got some coke, I've got this, I've got that. So when they say marijuana is a gateway drug, that's where the gateway is.
It's a
through your
proximity gateway.
freaking
Yeah.
dealer, because more than likely they are turning you on to whatever else they have. Whereas the product that we carry and most, I'm speaking for most reputable shops in Alabama, all those products are third party tested and come with a certificate of analysis that we can show you at any given time, and you can also pull up with your own phone once you leave the store with your purchase. So
You know,
we could not be more protective of the product that we sell.
sorry, I was just about to say, to me, it really just boils down to money. Because, you think about the ABC board, right? Which is one of the, I never understood that, right?
They have no business governing this.
Right. You got these businesses who are, they sell liquor, but then you also, your biggest competitor is the government, right? You know what I'm saying? So, and at the end of the day, it boils down to the dollars. And I think that's one of the biggest problem was it's just that they were trying to create this board because whoever controls the purse strings had all the power, and somebody got their butt hurt because they didn't want to have they wanted to have that control, and now since they can have control, they're like, well, screw you guys, I'm taking my ball and I'm headed home, and I'm gonna screw everybody else out too. So and it's frustrating because at the end of the day, it's like, okay, so do you want me to do this the right way, the legal way, or find other alternatives that's going to cause more chaos and havoc and put more stress on police officers and all these other enforcement and communities and all these things that we talk about we want to stop and prevent. We're tossing that out and wondering where the problem is and why we keep falling in the same situation over and over again. It's because stuff like this.
And I know we've got to go to break. And as we go to break, I'm just gonna leave us with this thought. For a state that cares so much about protecting the children, they have no. How damn long have we been next to last in education?
Since 1842, probably.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe educate the kids. How about that? How about you educate the kids? If you're so concerned about them, how about, I don't know, make sure that they can read?
That's a great idea.
Do basic math? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe a little critical thinking along the way. Yeah.
Look, they can't even make resumes. These parents aren't even teaching people how to do a resume, how to interview for a job. So I mean, seriously, this is not going to happen.
I'm going to need all you folks who voted yes as we go to break to collectively pull your lips over your head and swallow. This is the Breaking Bread Radio Show. We'll be back right after this.
You're listening to Break
Welcome back into the Breaking Bread radio program. Noto Roofing has got you covered. If you think you got an issue with your roof, reach out to the roofing professionals at Noto Roofing, because Noto knows roofing. NOTO roofing.com. If you go there right now, please sign up for a hassle-free risk evaluation and tune-up, and make sure that you tell them that the Breaking Bread crew sent you from Breaking Bread Radio, not from the line with Andrew McLean.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
We are trying to prove that our 5 hours of radio has a stronger impact than his 20 hours a week of radio for this one particular circumstance. And plus, we want Andrew McLean to have to buy us lunch. So, if you don't need a roof tune-up or inspection, I don't care. Do it anyway, because we want to win, and that's what's important.
And if you've previously called saying that you were talking to Noto, that you were from over the line,
Switch it.
call back and switch.
Switch.
Yes, do that right now, please.
I can't say nothing. I don't want Andrew hearing me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be on your side.
I'm not scared of you, Andrew.
But I know time is short here. Real quick, getting back to that black market thing. This is real life, folks. 20, 30 years ago, I remember seeing people on the end of a parking lot waiting on someone late at night. Well, it's going to be 4 or 5 times as many people say as of 5 or 6 years ago. There's a lot of elderly people that come in our shop and other shops that get stuff from us, and they're going to have nowhere to go except a 10 milligram gummy type of thing, and that's just not going to swing with a lot of people. So get ready for a bigger black market. You're going to see a lot of sketchier things going on when you go grocery shopping. There's always the people at the end of the parking lot. It's going to be rampant, and it's going to cause a lot of problems. And when people are doing illegal stuff, when the cops try to pull them over, that's when sketchy stuff happens, and that's when bad things happen, and people end up going to jail over something so small that was legal in the first place. So it's very bad. Contact the governor, dial that phone number, get them to veto this thing. That's the only shot we got. It's our freedoms.
Count on Talk 99.5.
All right, if you guys are on the live stream watching, we're going to hang out for a little while longer on the live stream. AJ, can you hang out with us for a little while longer?
Yeah, I gotta do it on here, on the phone. I'm
Yeah.
assuming.
Yeah.
I hope I got most of that in. I had to rush it.
You did.
Okay. All right.
You did. So
Yeah,
we
no,
are.
well,
saw there was a
also,
minute left.
Tony, just what was gonna happen to your business. We can talk about it on the stream.
Francis very
10-4.
well. Pope Francis, I think, confided in him.
New Pope
and,
today.
Hang on one second.
recognized his
Mics are hot.
Mics are hot. All right. So we're on like Facebook and stuff.
Now
We're on
Facebook and Twitter.
Facebook and Twitter and YouTube.
Okay.
Hey
All right.
everybody, thanks y'all for joining us. This is our
Hello,
first
all the things.
after
Breaking Bread After Hours.
Yeah, our first Breaking Bread After Hours, technically. Amy and Tony from Vaper Forge Highway 280, talking about this bullshit bill that
Oh, I can say words now.
Yeah.
yeah
Some words.
You can say pissed off.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's
Stop
like
it.
pissed. Can I say that? So,
You know,
Trying
it's,
to
it's funny.
behave.
It's funny that Tony, you mentioned how much larger the black market is going to grow, and I mean typically, like anything bigger and blacker just scares the crap out of the people in Montgomery.
Especially ARs.
You know,
I mean,
so
Oh.
yeah.
that would get me.
I'm
Maybe some people like that, but
I'm just so what do you do? Like, I mean, I know we can reach out and try to veto. I know that we probably can't get into a whole lot of, past reaching out and trying to get them to veto. It would probably be not strategically smart for us to talk about options past that moving forward.
Right.
But if none of that works, what happens to your small business and all the other small businesses and all the people that you guys that are employed by folks like you and I mean,
We lose our business.
Yeah.
They lose their jobs. That's really. We're doing everything we can to think of ways to pivot.
So is this a 100% like death sort of thing for the business or whatever?
It would be for us
Would it?
because of where we're at, the high rent. You know, we have a lot
Yeah.
of.
I mean, let me just say that the AHVA is still hard at work. We are looking into our legal options, and that would, not just for the few shops that the board members of AHVA are talking about. We're talking about getting lots and lots and lots of people and shop owners and consumers. We need consumers' help too, to possibly see what can legally be done at this point. So the problem with that is even something like an injunction doesn't happen overnight.
right.
And so in the meantime, we still have to keep the lights on, pay the rent, keep employees, etc., and that's very, very hard. So,
And they're not even thinking about the fact that somebody that has to close a business mid lease, it's not like you're just gonna they're just gonna let you out of your lease.
Well, yeah, but we thought about that a long time ago. We have a contingency clause in our lease, but I can pretty much guarantee at least half of the vape shop owners out there didn't even think about that.
Yeah, we got the same thing here.
Yeah. So if something politically or legally happened that would affect, I think in our contract it was like 40% or more of our sales or one items or another, then we can give them like a 90-day, heads up and then be out no matter how long the lease went for.
Ours says if it's not of our fault, right? Something we like we had
Right.
no control over that, then we're good.
and we've been there for almost 13 years. Our landlord is wonderful. He's come to be a friend, so I know that he would do us right if we had to get out of our lease.
Right.
I'm not
But that's
not
a stupid
concerned
option.
about that. Not concerned about how we would deal with that.
Right.
I'm more concerned with no. I mean, Tony and I are gonna live. We have things we can fall back on. But we employ 6 people who depend on us to live. They're gonna have to completely pivot and regroup. We have tons and tons, hundreds of customers that have probably never in their life thought about using THC, but now do and have come off of opioids, have come off of alcohol, are now, using that to manage pain, PTSD, anxiety, ADHD. The list goes on and on and on.
We hear stories every day.
Every
Yep.
single day. I personally, I do not use any smokable or vapable hemp products, but I do use gummies because I have lupus and that's very painful. And sometimes just to be able to get out of the bed or to go to sleep without pain, I use a gummy. And I don't, it's not affordable to consider having to buy individual gummies
Sure.
to get to a milligram that's helpful.
But we have to save the children. You don't get it yet, do
My
you?
children are grown.
No,
It's-
but that's what the politicians would say. When
Right.
she said that,
Sure.
she said, that's why we allowed a 10 milligram gummy for you,
Yeah, a 10 milligram gummy is not gonna help a thing.
And I've said it multiple times since this has been going on. I have a bulging disc. I have a herniated disc. I have degenerative disc disease. My body, I've put my body through it. It's generally painful.
We're old and broken.
The reefer helps manage the pain because I'm a recovering pharmaceutical addict. I
Mm-hmm.
can't with the stuff. I mean, I can,
But you'd be back where you
but I'd be
were.
back where I was.
And the
Yeah.
doctors are in the business of prescribing pain pills. That's what they do.
It's still funny to me how that one politician was a doctor or a pharmacist, and he's saying things like, oh, synthetic bad. Dude, you're a pharmacist. Every
Right,
single thing in
everything.
your store is,
Right,
is
yeah.
synthetic.
How many,
Those are
how
my
many,
exact
how
words
many
to him.
scripts do you write a day for Oxy?
Yeah, it's like,
I mean,
Yeah.
and it, and then plus, yeah, that stuff brings on so many other problems that people don't anticipate. Just basic stuff like going number 2,
I was gonna
hard to
say,
do,
I was gonna say constipation.
Yeah, just
There
that
you go.
alone right there will mess up your whole day,
Absolutely will. Not to mention that it's, depending on which drug you're talking about, it's either going to kill your liver or your kidneys.
Yeah.
Pain pills are they're awful for you. But I can't tell you the number of people that probably more people getting off pain pills than anything is what I hear.
right.
And
Yeah.
then, grandma's coming in there who
Glaucoma.
would have never touched my own mother. God bless her. I mean, she was so against marijuana and everything else, but when she learned about the medicinal properties of THC, she's all about it. And as is my stepdad, who is a retired doctor.
Well,
It just
90%,
takes education.
90% of those people down in Montgomery are using this,
Oh,
right? And-
I could give you the names
Oh.
because we know who
right.
were the
Yeah.
gummy lovers last year when we were down there fighting a vape bill.
And they're not going to lose access, right? Because they're going to have their little drug runners and doing all the little things, and they're just not going to lose access,
They're in Montgomery.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not.
They probably get their gummies unwrapped per one, like,
I bet they do.
off the street,
Right.
Apple. But,
With no idea what's in them, right?
yeah,
Especially with the
and that's
fentanyl-
another thing
the fentanyl
too.
crisis,
You
the
know,
fentanyl stuff now. I mean, that if anything, that should be in y'all's corner, right? Like that there's not fentanyl in this stuff, right? And it's absolutely
No.
everywhere.
Because some of the legislators tried to say that, the stuff that people were buying, they even said that they made purchases at different places and had it analyzed, and that all of it tested, everything had something in it, like whether it be fentanyl, whether it be whatever. But none of it tested clean the way it should. Everything we sell comes with a COA. It's third party tested.
Did they show you this report?
No, they did
Oh,
not.
yeah,
So I don't
exactly.
believe them.
Yeah.
We did ask, like where's the report? We never saw a report. The other thing they were talking about was when they were talking about the children being trafficked and people overdosing. That's what killed me. People overdosing on gummies and vapes and stuff. And I'm like, first of all, you don't overdose on THC. You just get a little too high. And you give them a bag of chips and a Pepsi and tell them, chill out, take a nap, wake up, you'll be fine. So there have been
Yeah.
not a single death on record from hemp products.
We have
Zero.
we have a mutual friend that that ate 2 whole gummies
Mm-hmm.
one time,
I think I know.
and they were trying to
I know.
they were trying to convince me to take them to the hospital, and I was like, listen, I will take you and drop you off outside the front door. I was like, but I will have zero part of anybody knowing that I'm hanging out and partying with somebody that I had to take to the ER
for 2 gummies.
for 2
By the
gummies.
time they're done waiting to see the
Right.
doctor, they're
Yeah.
fine. They just leave anyway. Like I don't need to be
Yeah.
here.
So here's the other thing, though, too. All right, so let's just pretend that you can overdose on this stuff, right?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So what are the chances that the first time you overdose, right, that you die versus some of these narcotics that they'll prescribe you that you can absolutely, the first time you take them, prescribed whatever and kick the bucket?
Goose egg.
Exactly.
You have a higher chance of dying on the way home tonight in your car.
Oh, yeah. Or
Just
falling out of the
Or
sky.
a
Yeah.
meteor hitting this building right now.
probably close to that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like the chances of. I mean, everything's a chance.
Right. It's not. It's a non-zero chance.
Right.
Right. For sure. I
Mhm.
mean, so I don't know that the argument of like it can't happen. I'm not a big fan of
There
that.
would have to be other things going on.
Yeah,
Right.
you would
That-
you
Right.
would have to have some sort of strange chemical imbalance, or you would have to eat so much THC.
But it's statistically, I mean, we're talking about 1 out of 400 million or 380 million people that are in this
Yeah.
country or whatever. I mean, it's you know what?
there are no recorded deaths, so if that tells you anything,
There are more kids dying from eating Tide Pods,
yeah.
Yes,
right?
true. Yeah.
100%.
Or
eating-
anything under the sink in the
Right.
kitchen,
But
bleach, things
yeah.
like
Okay,
that.
I want you to look up the Poison Control Center report right now if you want, or if you don't want to, you can just hear me out. If you check Alabama Poison Control and say, what is the number one thing that children are, brought to children's for, whatever, it's going to be ingestion of household cleaners or things that you would find under your sink. So if you can't keep your kids from eating a Tide Pod, what in the hell are you doing with children
Right.
that you can't keep them from eating your gummies or whatever? I mean, seriously.
And I just got to say this once. I really don't have any ailments or anything. I just enjoy the stuff.
Right.
I mean, really, I should
Yeah.
be able to do it. I don't harm anybody. I'm not late for anything.
Absolutely.
Every once in a while, late at night, if I eat, a little too much gummies, I end up eating some Doritos too. And that's
Right.
really all that
You
happens.
just go to sleep. You wake
Yes.
up fine the next day. Call
Sleep
it.
well. Never
it
late
night.
for anything. All the stereotypes of you'll just be lazy and sit in the no, that's not the case.
Well, yeah, that's what I talk to people.
It's a
all the
mental
time, like,
state,
"Oh,
Either that or you got to find a different kind. you
Yeah,
know.
it's just stupid.
I mean, some of the like the sativas and stuff. I mean, you want to paint the whole room. Like,
Well, it's for us to be such a. JD mentioned it early in the show. For us to be such a hardcore conservative,
Freedom-loving.
state, yeah, you know what I'm saying. I had so many people like when I was sharing on social media. Hey, contacted governor's office. Said, why do I care about whether or not
I read
weed-
those.
And I'm like, because freedom, asshole.
Right.
Yeah. Do you want, if
Period.
this freedom can be taken, everything
You don't think they'll
can
come and
be.
take your Bud Light, you freaking redneck?
Well,
Yeah.
and they just
gone?
recently passed red flag law in the
Yeah.
state of Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
that's scary.
The gun toting state in the country, right? It's kind of like Florida. Florida's got some insane red flag laws. They've also their background check system is absolute garbage. But you talk to anybody, and it's like we're America, we're freedom, Second Amendment, blah 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 blah. Show me the receipts that you are actually any of these things, right?
Yeah. And in Florida, the same type of thing happened with the hemp down there. It passed the House and the Senate, and there was an amendment or something, and the governor DeSantis ended up vetoing that. And it's basically structured the same way. It's funny how the states seem to have the same structure of their bills, whether it's vape or hemp or whatever. They're just basically copying and pasting.
It's the same lobby.
So
They
you
are.
know it has to
Right.
do with
They
big
are.
corporations.
They
And
absolutely are.
Right.
And I can prove that with the vape bill. The vape bill is an Altria bill, Altria being a big tobacco company, and the same identical bill was presented in, I want to say, 13 other states. And Barbara Drummond talked about how long and hard she worked on this bill.
she printed out. That's all she did.
Look.
Tens of minutes.
Tens
Yeah.
of minutes,
Yeah.
I'm sure. I would kiss my own big toe if she did anything.
You know what? I don't want to hear anybody. I don't want to hear anything from anybody with the last name Drummond. I don't.
Different strokes,
I don't care if they're not related to.
She's not related.
But I don't care. I don't
Yeah,
want.
and
You
these-
got that? I don't want to hear it.
She's also running for mayor of Mobile.
Yeah,
Oh.
this is her key. Like, hey, I got this done. Any politician that gets an upgrade or a better job usually does something at their previous that they use as a trophy
Right.
and say, hey, this and that.
Right.
But speaking of Barbara Drummond, we've caught her in a couple lying. She lied about this one kid that supposedly died from a fentanyl in his vape or something.
Look, she did that on the news the other day.
Right, and she knew it was a lie, and we called her on it and produced the death report, the
Not the-
autopsy, with the kid.
Oh yeah, that child had he was a drug user.
He snorted the stuff or something like that, and he just happened to have a nicotine vape in his pocket.
Yes.
And then they then she said it was a vape-related death, and it wasn't. And then the autopsy proved that, and she still went on making speeches saying the same thing after we called her out on it. And she keeps going on with this third grade kid she saw at some Sunday school.
No different than like the George Floyd thing, right?
Oh,
Saying
dude.
that like the dude was high on all kinds of things, right? And I mean, it's tantamount. You're just gonna say whatever you need to say to scare whoever
Well, I mean,
to make
she
that
was,
happen.
not only was she proven to be lying, this happened last year during the vape fight. One of our board members stood up, challenged her, had the proof on his phone, and said, I will print it out and send. And this was in front of a Senate committee.
I remember that.
It was actually a guy named John. Said, I have the report right here. That child died because he was a drug user who also vaped. And she's taken this one step too far. And that right there last year is what got that bill squashed. But now this year that she's gotten it passed and she's doing little news reports and all, that became the story again.
Yeah, so
That someone died.
You know what one of the solutions here, jury nullification. We need to make jury nullification great again.
Well, we
But,
need to make something.
Yeah,
great.
nobody really knows what that is anymore. So
I don't know, but this Barbara Drummond, she's bad news, and she's got her bill passed now, and so now she's going to go be mayor, and all these people support her, but she's a liar. I even think she's low IQ. I would challenge her to an IQ test right now, and I bet I'd whoop that ass so bad.
I almost hope she does, except for my friends in Mobile, and I have several. I don't want to wish that on them. But at the same time, I would love for her to go take an appointment elsewhere, get the hell out of the House of Representatives in the state of Alabama, because I don't want her around. Because I have no doubt we're not done fighting.
Now, here's something I do know. Politicians in the state will and have been paid on the side, hush money, whatever gold, cash. It happens, and it's going to continue to happen, and we'll never know.
it's like NIL.
This woman, Barbara Drummond, last year when she didn't get her way with her bill, it didn't look normal. I was watching her, the body language and everything like that. She didn't look like somebody that failed at her bill and her job, and she had to retry it. Like, oh shucks, we ought to do this next time. She looked like somebody that missed a big payday.
Right.
She had, you could just tell she was shaking. There was all this thing. She probably already spent part of the money on something before, because it looked like it was going to pass last year, and then it didn't, and she was pissed.
She was nervous like the stock market dropped.
Dude.
Well, the Altria market didn't pay her last year.
And I'm
but
not
they did
talking
this year.
like with money. I'm not talking like a $1,000 or a $5,000 oh crap moment. I'm talking it looked like somebody just lost a brand new Cadillac or that kind of payment. She lost on Jeopardy.
Or
That's
home.
the look.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they never give it to them directly. It's always a lobbying friend or the son's girlfriend needs a new car, and somehow she ends up with a new car, and it's in somebody else's name, and it's always it's almost like pro athletes back in the day in college.
Boosters.
They'd always the
Yes.
boosters would hook it up,
Yeah.
and the athletes would pretend they're broke all the
Yeah.
time, and then roll out in dubs, and all that.
Come cut my grass and you get your brand new car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's always in somebody else's name, and it's always hush. But these politicians, I'll tell you, they don't have a big salary, but they all dress nice.
Yep.
They seem to have a nice ride, and they got lots of respect for what I don't know. I could talk about this for a month, man. It really pisses me off.
Well, it should. It should piss everybody off.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sick of being in Montgomery. I'm sick of my colleagues having to be in Montgomery. I'm sick of fighting this because it is truly just a freedom that we should have, an adult choice, an adult freedom, 21 and up. That would solve everything. And as an adult, I should be able to do pretty much whatever I want as long as I'm not harming someone else.
Well, I would say that it probably needs to be 18, or they need to raise the age of entering the military.
Yes, I
You
agree
know what I'm
with
saying?
I agree with
Like,
that.
As somebody that did that,
Yeah.
right? I went in at 17, right? And I was almost out of my first enlistment before I could buy a beer.
Yeah. If
And
you
I'd
can
already come
die
back
for
from
your
Iraq.
country,
Like, go pound sand.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
if you can die for your country, you should be able to have a beer, smoke a cigarette, vape a vape, whatever you want to do. Um, that is some BS right there.
Yeah, and something on the side that we deal with for years now is there's hundreds of vape shops that never fought anything. They just kind of sat back and watched and thought, oh, everything will be fine. And they've been kind of riding off my wife's coattails and her organization. And we pay all this money every year and it gets expensive, but we have no choice but to fight because there's only so many people fighting. And all this noise that you hear with the media and these rallies and all these people, they're all just reactionary people.
Where were they?
Yeah, we've been setting up, and
Where were they
even you
when we
guys
were
know, come up to you, it's like, hey, next year we got this fight coming up, we're
Right.
getting planned, ready, and all that. These people just react. They see it on ABC or NBC, and oh crap, and it's a last minute thing, and then they think like they're fighting for.
Well, and it's very much the same idea of like, you can bitch and moan, but like, go run for office,
Yeah.
go do something to have a positive effect, right? But these folks won't do that either.
We contacted so many shop owners in the last year or two, begging them join our org. It's not that expensive. It's I think $1,000 a year if you pay up front, or $100 a month if you can't pay the $1,000 at once. $100 a month is nothing to have people who are going to be there in person, an actual lobbyist fighting for you and your business. But like Tony mentioned, so many people have ridden our coattails for years. And this year, because we knew the fight was going to be vape and hemp, we didn't raise the price. We reformed our org to include hemp because in the past it was just vape. But we didn't raise the price of what it was going to cost. Everyday consumers can join for $25 a year, very cheap. Wow. But to have your voice heard and to support what we're doing is so very important. And for anybody who's listening, watching, whatever, it is not too late because our fight just started. We're already preparing to write new legislation for next year. And trust me, lobbyists and attorneys are not free during the off season. So any shop owner or any consumer who would like to join the fight and help, please go to AHV as in Victor A.US. You can read about our org. You can join. Please join. Just do whatever you can. If you can make a one-time donation of $5 and that's all you can do, hell yeah, we appreciate you.
Do you want to call everybody in the state?
Yes. Uh-oh.
Oh no, yeah, I see the look in his face.
JD has moves.
I got things. I know stuff.
Things and stuff.
So
Yeah.
at what point, and I know you guys are not close to being done fighting, but at what
Not
point?
done fighting.
At what point does it just make sense? I mean, at what point do you just take your ball and go home and say, "Screw you guys"?
Yesterday when I couldn't. I mean, my phone blows up 24/7. I'm on 3 or 4 chat groups, plus my own text message, plus the phone ringing. And that thing dinged so many times, I finally just turned the ringer down, put it to the side, and I told Tony, I said, I'm taking a nap. I can't do this shit anymore. And so sometimes you just have to take a day. And everybody in our organization has had those days where we're like, okay, we can't deal today.
And one thing that we deal with people in the industry, everybody knows that we're like part of the fighters, we're involved every year. So every year when it comes around, wherever you go, whether we go to the shop, the employees, what have you heard? What's new? And it's a constant thing that just never, if I let my phone go all day on silent and I look at it at the end of the night, probably 30, 40, 50% of my calls are people asking me, what's going on or whatever. And you don't have a choice but to fight at that point because you've been in this so long. I feel sorry for some of these people that thought it was a smart thing to open up a vape shop like a year or two ago. That was not smart. We actually know one person, not smart, but it gets tiring, and that's like the only relief. If they shut us down and we lose the business and all that, we're just going to do something that has nothing to do with political. We want nothing, we want no controversy.
We're coming to flip cheeseburgers at Chili
Yeah.
Brothers.
We want to do something that is not going to
Well,
every year.
You want to just chop wood?
I was gonna, and I say
I'd
this
ban that too.
in all seriousness, and I'm not suggesting it because of whatever, but you make sure that your team at Vapor Forge knows, and the two of you already know, but you make sure that that those 6 folks know that we will find a home for them. I don't take lightly what they helped me get through.
You're going to make me cry.
So
because I worry about them so much more than I worry about us.
well, we will find.
We can't cry yet. There's not time to.
No, and I promise you.
Maybe after.
Stop it, Amy.
I can't do anything for all of the vape shop owners and whatever. But as far as your team goes, they're a part of our family.
They're good people.
And and we know enough people around town between us and anywhere. We know a lot of folks that do a lot of different types of things.
Right.
Yeah.
We will make sure that they land on their feet.
I think we got 1 out of 6 right now that's taken care of for after the fact. Out of our 6 people so far, 1's found something solid.
Yeah.
So hey, that's 16.66%. So
Yeah. And then
I got
and then
maths.
I will say this: another one of our team. I don't think that person really needs to work. I think they're working for. We give our employees excellent. They pay what we pay for product.
we're the bosses we wish we would have had when
Yeah.
we were,
Yeah.
So they get everything it costs, and I think that one employee just works for product.
Yep.
And does not necessarily have to work. Just
But our son-in-law, who's the manager, he's we've been paying him good, and he's been with us for years, and
I
he's
didn't
the
know that
father.
was y'all. I didn't know that was y'all.
Yeah, David. Yeah,
David. Yeah.
I had no
Really?
idea.
father of our grandchild, and now not only are it just makes it kind of weird for us. Like, okay,
Right.
so,
Yeah.
but everything,
Not that we don't love all the others just as much, but David's been with us the longest, and he is our
Yeah.
family.
but God will always take care of us, and we try to take care of everybody the best we can. We're doing all we can to fight. Just doing the best. That's it. Just do the best you can do, and we're transparent with everybody. We don't sugarcoat anything with the guys. Even when we hire them, we're like, okay, we're in an industry that could go down at any point, and tell them right off the bat, like, hey, if you want security, go work for AT&T or something, but
Right.
we'll pay you good, we'll treat you great. You can stay here as long as you work, but somebody, politician come along and take your job, so it's not like they didn't know.
So is it you guys mentioned that that if the hemp stuff is the way that it is, that because of the high rent and whatnot, you would suffer and probably have to be. You guys were open for a lot of years before the Farm Bill stuff came
Right.
along.
And we were vape only, but
Yeah.
there were no restrictions.
Well, that's what I
like
was getting
there
ready to
are
say.
now.
So it's the additional restrictions
Correct.
that would make it prohibitive moving forward, just being the vape store.
Right, with the two
Yes.
bills, the HB 445, HB 8, if we would have had one of those two
Right.
that didn't pass,
Right.
we would have been able to figure it out,
Right.
And the
So-
reason is because with HB8's passage, it is forcing any e-liquid manufacturers to go on a registry in Alabama, which number one is stupid because there's a federal registry, but here we are once again. So they would have any manufacturer would have to go on the registry. Well, they sort of introduced this several years ago, and no manufacturer wanted to go on our registry because in the state of Alabama, Alabama. I
You're
did
from
not,
here. You should
I
speak.
did not eat a gummy. In the state of Alabama, tobacco-free nicotine was not legal. And don't know if most of you know this, but you can, get tobacco from all nightshade plants. Tomatoes are just full
Nicotine.
of nicotine.
Yep.
You can get
So,
nicotine from it.
What did I say?
Tobacco.
I said tobacco. Okay, again.
You can get
crazy.
nicotine from a tomato.
I didn't need a gummy, but yeah, you can get nicotine from a tomato. So all of these tobacco-free nicotine options were becoming the thing, and most vape manufacturers were switching to a tobacco-free nicotine in response to what the federal government was doing. at the time. So, because Alabama did not allow tobacco-free nicotine, no manufacturers wanted to get on our registry. Well, with the passage of HB8, it is allowing tobacco-free nicotine, but now we're starting with a registry with nothing on it, but mainly products from Big Tobacco.
Right.
Um,
Philip Morris.
It's kind of
R.J.
like they knew
Reynolds.
what was coming.
oh God, yes, they knew.
Yeah.
There are like three e-liquids on there that are decent.
Brands,
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Brands, yeah.
And they're
that
not
are
even that
decent.
great, but they're, if you had nothing else, you could maybe go with it.
And there are
you
at
know.
least 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 or 5 that used to be on the registry but did not renew that registration.
Does it cost to
And
be on there?
Yes.
It costs $2,000 for
Oh.
the initial application for the registry. If they are approved, then each additional year is $500.
Yeah, and I think the $2,000 when they pay it, there's no
No
guarantee
guarantee.
you're going to be approved, so they just lose it. You don't
Really?
get it back. Yeah. So,
Wow,
yep.
that's insane. At least with the ATF, if your NFA item gets denied, you get your $200 back.
Yeah,
No, they don't.
Wow,
we don't hear.
that's
And it makes it
absolutely
tough
insane.
because why would a manufacturer want to deal with our state with all these extra things when there's 49 other ones, and out of
Well-
those 49, there's probably 37 that still, you
Yeah,
know.
this is happening with hemp and with vape in a lot of different I was about to say countries, states. Y'all are gonna think I'm high.
I never cuss,
Um,
but this is all bullshit.
It is.
Just want to say that once.
You never
Yes.
cuss?
Not on the radio or air.
Oh,
you know.
okay. I was about to say.
Yeah,
Um,
I trained myself.
Not on over the line, and it's proper.
I might say shit or something, but I don't drop an F bomb.
not the brown word.
Well, I don't know. I just get used to it. I don't go at like a different microphone and then start cussing and then go the other one and be like, "Hi guys, how you doing?" So
How's everything? Not to completely change the subject, but how's everything going with the podcast? I know you guys did the whole like Bubba
Oh,
Army thing.
yeah,
or
I just
whatever.
got back from the Bubba the Love Sponge studio. I was there visiting my dad in Florida. He got diagnosed with ALS, so I'm visiting him. And on the way back, I stopped by and got a tour of their studio. I got pictures I'll show you, but it's a cool crew over there, and they got a big studio. It's
Right.
very fancy. Still the same one they had when he was with Howard Stern or whatever.
It's not as big as this one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's what she said.
Thank you.
Anyway,
So how did you get hooked into that?
Andrew is a huge Bubba the Love Sponge fan,
That checks out.
and yeah, he even says certain phrases that Bubba says, and I catch. I'm like, oh, it's rubbed off on him.
They have what is it, 45 and 47 in common, I believe.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
but
Did you just say that Andrew rubbed off Bubba the Love Sponge?
He did.
I gotcha.
probably would, but if he had the chance. But no, he was a big Bubba fan when he was younger, and he kept listening to him. So he paid attention to Bubba as he was going, and he noticed that some of these other podcasts got on the Bubba Army Network.
Right.
So he started contacting those podcast people. How'd you do this, this, and that? And eventually he ends up with one of the producers' phone numbers. And then we sent over a show. And I guess they all watched the show, and they got back to us the same night and said, we'll go ahead and,
Oh wow,
yeah, they liked it.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So usually it doesn't go that way. They've tried I've watched episodes where they tried another, bunch out. They'd watch it and they literally go on the radio the next day like, that group was crap. We're not doing that. So I was really worried, like if they don't like us, they're going to bash us. But no, I don't know what's wrong with them, but they liked us. So,
Wow.
Is their John Bird going to fight our John Bird?
no, they stopped that.
Stop
Tuttle.
Just have made up.
Yeah, Tuttle. Have you
Was
seen the
that
episode?
real?
Kinda. I think it might have been a leg wrestling thing or something, or maybe a,
No, but were they
And when you
upset
say
at each other?
leg,
No, Bird started the whole thing. Tuttle didn't even know who Bird was.
Oh.
And Andrew's telling Bird, he's like, they got this guy named Tuttle, and he's kind of like their Bird. He's their, funny, blah, blah, blah. And Bird's like, I'm just going to kick the shit out of him, And then Bubba saw that. Next thing you know, it's a thing. And then Bird had to apologize, and Bird got up in a wrestling costume. Did you see that? I mean, it looked like he had this huge summer sausage in his package.
He had
That's
something.
hilarious.
Yeah,
in there.
I got pictures of that too. But
I'll pass on those.
yeah,
Yeah.
Bird's been dumped too many times for that to be real.
Yeah, he would have had some awards or something, But Bubba, they played that clip, and Bubba was like, "Is that real?" And they called John a 62 um, for IQ. They think he's an R word, but they don't say that, so they call him a 62.
An R word.
Yeah, you know.
Like a
So-
hard R?
Yes, the hard R.
Yeah, at the beginning. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, they call him a 62.
There is a sign if you pass by his house that says "Slow birds at play."
Yeah. So
Is there really? That's
this guy, for the people out there that know John Bird and just know he's entertained, like in real life, he's the same type of thing, scatterbrained and. I don't know. It's just so hard to describe.
I do think that it's funny that you don't see those signs in new neighborhoods anymore. The new signs say "Caution, children at play."
Mm-hmm.
They no longer say "Slow, children at play."
I haven't noticed that.
I felt when I was a kid, we stole a few signs and we put them up in the basement at the house, and it was like a show. I felt so bad after the fact, but I saw there was this sign that said "Deaf Child Area," so we go through this neighborhood. And I just thought, deaf child area. I've never seen that before. Let's get that one, So we took it down, took it home, put it up in the basement. And like 2 days later, I see this little clip in the newspaper. And it's like some a-hole stole the deaf child area,
Oh, I just knew you were getting ready to tell us that like some
Yeah.
deaf child had been run over.
No, thank God.
Yeah.
But they made like a big deal about it. And there was even like a 30-second clip on the news of TV. Like somebody stole this. How could and I'm like,
Right.
like that's me.
They were making you out to be like what
Like who
happened
would steal that
on
sign?
Dumb and Dumber?
And I married that
where they actually killed the canary and the
Yes.
little blind kid sitting there. It's like,
Pretty bird.
pretty bird. He's so quiet.
Duct tape the head, yeah. But no, and me and my buddy Joey, we were like, dude, we made the news, and he's like, we need to get rid of the sign. But that was a rare sign at the time. I'd seen some since then, but it was like the crown jewel of
Of the
bad things to
sign
do. Yeah.
collection.
But once I learned about growing up and you can't steal signs and you can get it's a felony and all that, I stopped doing that and got rid of them all. So I got scared. But I had a little
We used
collection
to
for a
steal
while.
signs too when we were teenagers.
Really?
Yeah, I had one on the wall, and Mom was like, "How'd you get that?" I'm like, "Oh, it's just laid on the side of the road." She
It just hopped
Believed
off the
me.
pole.
It was
onto
there
my
for the
wall.
taking.
And knowing your mother, she believed you too.
she did believe.
Yeah.
me.
My neighbor's got a
Bless
stop
her.
sign leaned up against the house, and every time I drive by, I'm like, "You should hide that." like, it's just out.
There's probably a video camera on it. And he just wants to see how many people actually stop.
No, yeah. It's in the back. It looks like it's attached to something. I don't know, but when we took signs, we put them inside,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Mine
Again,
hung on the
parents are
wall.
not teaching their children how to properly do these things,
No, yeah.
right? I
You
mean,
gotta teach your kids how to not get caught when they do dumb stuff.
right?
And the signs they used to be easier to get out 20, 30 years ago. I'm sure they've made it harder to. just
No,
go up
it's
and
still
grab
pretty
it.
easy. You just get one of those old timey jacks that used to be on the front, of, like little hook.
Yeah.
And it's got a little.
Just need a breaker bar. Just
Oh
and-
man, because we took like a power drill.
You
and
undrilled it all?
No, we just took the
we
whole sign.
we undid like the sign from the pole.
I'm 5'2", I think. I would never be able to reach that top screw up there.
we had a fast ratchet, but we used a breaker bar to get it started. So we had the flat where it didn't spin. It would just for the leverage. And some of them were harder than others. So we took an extra pole that was like 2 or 3 feet long with the hollow inside. It was metal, so you could put it over the breaker bar and then use the pole to get
Either
it off.
that or just
Some of 'em-
run over it first. Make it lower.
I never stole a sign.
Really?
No?
You're the good one out of this group.
I
yeah.
wouldn't go that far.
Oh,
But no,
okay.
I didn't.
I don't know.
No, that was
Were you making signs? No.
maybe IDs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
License
I got a
plate.
story about that.
Not signs.
That report cards.
Yeah.
Like, I've always been a nerd.
Yeah, I definitely autographed a report card or two for a person or two back
Look-
in the day, and wrote a couple turn papers.
I got friends that have parents that think they did way better in school than they really did.
I'm with you on that.
Were you printing out report cards on the Commodore 64?
No comment, sir.
It's like I didn't even have a Commodore 64.
No, I didn't have that. I
I'm
had a,
not nearly as old as you.
no, I'm not.
Old ass.
But
I did write term papers for my daughter's friends.
so,
I won't say which ones because I'm still friends with their parents, but
Because they have master's degrees now, thanks to you.
one of
Yeah.
them does.
yeah,
I paid somebody to write a paper for me one time in college when I was like 19 or 20.
I wrote a paper for you.
I almost didn't get to walk.
Oh, I did.
Which paper?
Wow.
Your very first
because-
class you ever took, I wrote a paper.
No, no, no. The second time in college here in Birmingham.
I'm
'cause I-
talking about Birmingham. Yeah,
Okay. This must have been like one of those English 102 or something
it
like that.
was.
Yeah, I hate those classes, so that's fine.
I took that class for you. You made a very good grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Well, I had straight A's after all that.
No, I got accused of writing a couple papers because they all kind of, they weren't worded the same, but whatever.
I mean, I could probably call 4 people right now in my phone that absolutely got report cards from me. I mean, 100%. It was because I used to work at it's the UPS store now,
Right,
but the company before that, so I had access to paper,
right.
any kind of paper. I could order whatever I wanted, and then I've got half a brain, so it wasn't that difficult.
Right. Hell yeah. No, I did have to go before the board and defend myself for my senior thesis for AP English or whatever. They I compared and contrasted the story of Adam and Eve to that of Macbeth and how it was basically just the same choices and different.
I've already fallen asleep.
So,
And they were like, you come to school way too messed up to have like
That's why I'm so
done
brilliant.
that. No, and I was just like, I
It's
didn't
a
have the
deep
heart to tell them
subject.
that I'd eaten a 10 strip of acid before I wrote it. Like
You
I
could
sat
see it
down
very
and it just
clear.
started flowing. I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
let's go.
I do remember being a freshman in high school, and this girl wrote a paper about a country. It was a 7 to 9 page something or whatever, and the teacher called her out in front of the whole class and found she copied word for word out of some book about this place, Zimbabwe in Africa. That's what it was.
Completely plagiarized.
Complete that, like from start to finish, and she just like changed the name and the date and stuff. And this teacher took the time to find it because it was written so well, So anyway, something happened to her, and we never saw her in the class again.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think she got
the
moved.
Alabama driver's license used to be blue. It was a specific type of paper, and I could order any kind of paper I wanted.
Right.
It was pretty close. It was close enough that nobody knew.
Just don't mess with printing the green. They'll
No,
get you on that.
No, you can't. I mean,
That's got to be the best business to own in the whole entire world.
the Federal Reserve?
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's independent. There's private owners in
Oh,
that
yeah.
mug. You'll never know. But
Well, there's a lot of countries
But
we
the
probably
banks-
don't like.
the banks together, the major banks like Chase Manhattan, J.P. Morgan, I think all the banks together own collectively 15 or 20% of the Federal Reserve. They don't own the majority, but they get a chair at the board and they get to vote
Well,
on.
and BlackRock probably owns all of them.
Yeah, BlackRock doesn't get to print the money, but I think they control like 30 trillion around there right now.
Well, I'm just saying they own the companies that
Oh,
are
man.
part. You know what I mean? So like they're
BlackRock. I mean, they own. You could pick any company out of the S&P 500, even Cumulus. I mean, they own 10% of like every company.
yeah,
Same and
everything.
Vanguard too.
Yeah,
so between
Vanguard,
both of them, they could tank the markets if they wanted
Yep.
to.
yeah,
So-
or control them.
Yes.
Hmm.
I think
Yep.
I'd rather control them.
Yep.
All right, we're about to get out of here. Thanks you guys for coming and hanging out with us. One more time, call Kay Ivy, write the State House, go to a rally. What can we do?
You can. Any of that's great.
And on the website, it's governor.alabama.gov/contact.
Correct. That is the exact exact web address you put in.
Mhm.
It will take you to the governor's page where you can send her a message.
Yep. And you can call her. It's 334-242-7100. If you don't get to leave a message, you can also text that number and leave your message on text, and they will see it.
Correct. And by all means, please.
You said it's what, 334?
Yeah, it's 334-242-7100. 7100.
I'm so
That's
thankful.
334-242-7100.
Tony is like a numbers guy. Like he never forgets a number. He can do crazy math in his head. So it is right now that I'm more thankful for him than ever.
But I can't draw a stick figure or
He
nothing.
can't.
It's just
All
all
right.
numbers in my head.
If you could just clean the damn George Foreman.
Yeah.
If he'd clean that foreman,
The person you are calling is currently full and cannot
Yeah.
accept new
It's been
messages.
full for
yes,
5 minutes.
it's been
Please
full.
try your
Yeah.
call.
Our IVR at the store, there used to be
But
an
you
option to
can
call
text it.
Congress, and it would just forward you to the number.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Also, please go to ahva.us. That's where you can learn about the Alabama Hemp and Vape Association. And we would love to have you as a member, whether you are a consumer or a business owner. Membership is very reasonable, or you can make a one-time donation, and that would help fund this fight. It would help us fund the new legislation that we're trying to write and change. So that would also be one thing you could do.
Yeah, and I hate to look back, but if we would have had more members and more money, we would have been able to fight this better this time around. We just used all we could. They have a lot of firepower on their end. It takes a lot.
We do, but honestly, I think it was decided long before we ever got there. I don't think there's any amount of money or lobbyists, unless we were sliding envelopes full of money across the table, which is how I think a lot of things get
We
done,
need somebody to donate a house to these people.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But our lobbyist was amazing, and she did a fantastic job. She fought like hell.
Well, let me just say to all the vape stores that didn't want to participate and didn't want to fight, you suck. And if you close, it's your own damn fault.
Okay. Well, I'm
There's
just
strength
gonna
in
say
numbers.
to all you guys that did not help now, because I mean, we're all on the brink of losing our businesses, and whether you can, if you think you're going to lose your business or you're going to have to close your doors regardless, take that last bit of money you're cashing out and make a donation to us, and let's change some laws in Alabama because they suck.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Make sure you tune in
Yep.
to the Over the Line podcast.
Yep.
Yeah, that too.
Over the Line podcast with Andrew McLean and the Bubba Army Network. And thank you, Will. Thank you, JD.
Thank
Absolutely.
you so much, guys. And
y'all.
I'm gonna end with this. When y'all were talking smack about Andrew, Trish messaged me
Oh, no. Here we go.
and she said, "Just remember, if Andrew provides lunch, it comes with peppers." And she had a little pepper emoji because that dude grows peppers out the wazoo.
And he doesn't even eat lunch, so he'll just be buying lunch and then watching you
Yeah.
eat.
Well, and
Andrew
listen,
doesn't eat.
and that's fine because if I buy lunch, it comes with X-Lax.
Ooh.
So
Is that the
have-
chocolate icing on the cake?
have it your way.
Is he gonna bring those peppers to Perry's?
Yeah, that's where he agreed to. He agreed that
He agreed to Perry's?
He said he was going to take us to lunch at Perry's.
Damn.
He has no idea what he's in for.
Tony doesn't take me to lunch at Perry's.
I'm not gonna eat for 5 days before we do
Actually,
this.
actually, what he said was that if he did lose, that he would get Chris from Noto Roofing to pick up the tab.
That sounds Andrew like.
It
Yeah.
does.
It's a good
Yeah.
thing I saw Chris today at Chubb Fathers.
Oh.
Yeah, Chris, those guys are good at Noto. I like them.
They're great. They're
They
great.
are.
And he was just like, listen, I don't know whose idea this was, but if y'all could just do this, like, keep it up. And I was like, hey, well, listen, if you'll buy us lunch, I mean, we'll beef with the line all day long.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
It's fun.
I got no issue with that. It's
I know Andrew thinks it's fun.
it is fun.
Yeah.
And it's all in good natured fun because we all do really love really do love each other. But if he does put a bunch of hot peppers in my food, I will make him shit for a week.
Well, we could get, if you ever want to do something to where somebody has to eat something real nasty, is it like a dare or something like that? Bird's always up for the challenge. You know?
He will do anything.
Just about, yeah.
Except take a food test.
You're gonna make me tinkle my pants.
That's funny. Or other things we won't mention, but that's funny.
He'll show his ass on his OnlyFans page, and
And
if
his
you look-
sausage.
if you look very closely on that little OnlyFans thing, like you've got to stop right perfect.
She's done it.
I have done it. His
His man
His
balls.
dangly
his,
bits.
his dangly bits, the ones that hang. are very visible.
Yeah, the emoji didn't cover
No, it didn't.
all of it for
He
a
had
split
like
second.
a smiley face emoji over his butt, and what should have been his hanging
Yeah, and
balls. But yeah, and when I told him, I said, "I want you to know I've seen your balls."
I know
And
it. Get it.
He was
got
like,
it.
"No, you hadn't." I said, "Oh,
Tony's got a picture.
did."
Yeah,
Tony
so
He did
pulling it
take a
up.
I'll put it
picture.
up in front. Here's a different one, just because I think it's funny, but I don't know if you can see that or not.
Oh, God.
well,
Yeah.
okay, now find the other.
All right,
This
the other one.
This is something I could have gone without.
Yeah, I know.
100%.
So there's him like.
Oh, man.
Now that's with it covered.
Yeah, but when it's in motion and he moves around, you can barely, almost see like a couple hairs.
Y'all had to be watching way
I
too
saw
closely
it.
for that.
Really?
I
Like,
told you it was her.
what is
Totally
nuts?
me. I spotted
That's a
him.
little over the line.
Yeah.
Over the
yeah.
line. Yep.
Yep. That's
All right.
absolutely over the line.
Thanks, fellas.
Thank
For now.
y'all.
All right, y'all. Be great.
Thank you so much.
Peace. See y'all.
Peace.